I was a singer before anything else, and I love to sing. But when you can sing original music written by one of your very best friends, and it turns out to appeal to this broad audience, that's pretty special. Everybody lives on a street, in a city, or a village, or a town, for what it's worth. And we're all inside a country which is part of a continent that sits upon a planet known as Earth. And the Earth is a ball full of oceans and some mountains which is out there spinning silently in space. And living on that Earth are the plants and the animals and also the entire human race. And it's a great big universe, and we're all really puny. We're just tiny little specks about the size of Mickey Rooney. It's big and black and inky. We are small and dinky. It's a big universe, and we're not. And we're part of a vast interplanetary system stretching 700 million miles long. With 9 planets and a sun, we think the Earth's the only one that has life in it, although we could be wrong. Across the interstellar voids are a billion asteroids, including meteors and Halley's Comet too. 50 moons floating out there like balloons in a panoramic trillion-mile view. And still it's all a speck amid 100 billion stars in a galaxy we call the Milky Way. It's 60,000 trillion miles from one end to the other, and still that's just a fraction of the way. But there are 100 billion galaxies that stretch across the sky, filled with constellations, planets, moons, and stars. The universe extends to a place that never ends, which is maybe just inside a little jar. It's a great big universe, and we're all really puny. We're just tiny little specks about the size of Mickey Rooney. Don't know how we got here, but we all mean a lot here. It's a big universe, and it's ours. Thank you.
Now, we want you to imagine that with a big cartoon playing.
That's right.
And he's singing live to it, because that's what you're going to see tomorrow.
Right.
With the full show of Animaniacs in concert at the Greenwich Theater.
Right. You guys come on down tomorrow. In fact, when we're done here in about an hour, you can come to our tables down at the autograph place, and we're going to have a QR code that will take you right to the ticket thing for the Greenwich Theater. 7:30 tomorrow night, we're going to be doing the whole shooting match.
A 2-hour show of animation, music, songs, laughter, fun, and Rob doing all the crazy characters that he does.
Right.
And we're also going to show you some songs that didn't make it onto Animaniacs because the censors wouldn't let us do them.
Yes.
But you'll get to hear them. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, maybe we should say on the count of 3 hello.
Okay, ready?
We forgot this. 1, 2, 3.
Hello,
London!
Yes. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. Now remember, for us, it's 4:30 a.m.
In the morning, that's right.
Yeah, so
in Hollywood.
If my voice all of a sudden sounds like nothing, then we'll know.
Yeah.
But anyway, hello, my name is Rob Paulsen. I'm Yakko.
And I'm George Clooney.
Yep.
Now, I'm Randy Rogel. I write them, and he sings them.
Well, as you've already heard, sing is a pretty generous term. However,
how many of you know Animaniacs?
You guys all out there?
And how many of you seen, I can't imagine, have seen Animaniacs in concert? Okay,
yeah.
Because we did almost 50 concerts just last year all around the United States. This is our London, in fact, UK debut.
That's
what
right.
An honor
You guys
it is
are here to help us. Thank you. We're so insanely happy to be here. It is an absolute labor of love to do this show. And the fact that the Greenwich Theater and the nice folks, Danny here and his people at the MCM Comic-Con, have been kind enough to give us this opportunity. But honestly, we got you guys here, and this is what this is all about. As I say often, you can have a script written by God, and 20 million bucks is someone else's money. And if nobody watches, it's a fancy tax write-off. So, thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
And we're going to have a blast. Absolutely.
And I will say too that we're not a tribute band.
Yeah, we're not an Eagles tribute
We're the
band.
guys who actually did it. Rob plays the voice of Yakko. How many of you know of two little mice that every day they try to take over the world? Yeah. Well, Rob is Pinky, also Pinky in the Brain. Yeah.
Nerf. That I get paid American dollars for doing that.
And a whole host of other characters, including the Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
Jimmy Neutron.
Don't forget about Carl Weezer and finish your croissant. By the way, though, what's cool about our show, in fact, as Randy said, tomorrow night at the Greenwich Theater, you will hear all sorts of interesting stories, not the least of which is this one, because what you just heard on Yakko's universe was not the original ending. Is that right?
Oh, well, that's actually true.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear the original ending of Yakko's World?
Yeah.
Well,
Explain what happened.
What happened was, when I wrote that song, I was actually out of town doing another show, and people, when you see the cartoon tomorrow, you'll see this all done actually live to picture, which is quite a crowd pleaser. But the idea, which came from our producer, Tom Ruger, was that we would just keep backing the camera up. We start with them, and then suddenly, we're outside the Earth, moving into the galaxies in the universe, and it all comes back inside the little globe jar. So someone had asked me, why didn't you do the planets if you were going to move to the solar system? And the truth is, I did do that. But when I was out of town, another great writer on the show, Paul Rugg, maybe you've heard of Paul.
Who was Freakazoid. Yeah.
He wrote that fancy little ditty, a little ditty that ended with the old Uranus gag.
I'm sorry, but what is the Uranus gag?
Oh, ask the animators, they'll draw you a picture.
Okay.
But actually, the truth is, I just heard that NASA is officially renaming that planet to get rid of that tired old gag once and for all.
Perfect. So what's the new name?
Eurectum.
Oh.
Yeah. But no, actually, so what I'm going to do, I actually had written an original thing with all the planets, but we didn't do that because Paul already wrote that little ditty. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play for you the lost verse of Yakko's universe, which includes all the planets, but there was also an original ending to the song, and we had a call from Business Affairs.
Yes, they said
the
you're not
legal
going to do
department
this.
at Warner Brothers, and they said, you're not doing that ending.
Right.
And we went, oh, come on. They go, you're not doing the ending. And when you hear it, you'll understand.
Yes.
Why. So, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the lost verse to Yakko's universe with all the planets, and the original ending, which they made us cut. And it's part of a vast interplanetary system with everyone revolving round the sun, with Mercury in between us. And after that comes Venus, and still the solar system's just begun. Past the Earth on towards the stars, where you find the planet Mars, which is over 50 million miles away, and orbiting in pattern are Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. So we say all together, it's a great big universe, and everyone's a part of it, and no one knows just where's the end or start of it. We all live here together, it's our home forever. It's a small world after all.
Thank you.
And now you know. Now you know.
If you're going to mess with a mouse in Burbank, that's not the mouse with whom you want to mess.
Exactly. So
that's why we
get much more into detail on that when we do the entire show,
Yeah.
which is a whole 2 hours of this madness.
Yeah, it's pretty great. You guys are going to enjoy it. And like I said, this is a wonderful opportunity to give you a little bit of a taste and hopefully set the hook. But irrespective of any of that, it's a pleasure to have you. We also, one of the things that Randy, as you know, first of all, let's get this straight. Okay, I'm a good singer-ish, but I live in Hollywood. You can tap somebody on the shoulder and find out, well, if they don't hit you, that they're a good singer. But what you can't do is find people to write this stuff. So here's a perfect example of Randy's impossible talent.
Rob is my agent, as you can see.
I'm taking care of this. But what happens, in fact, often, it used to happen, was that we would get a call, or Randy would get a call from Tom Ruger, our producer, saying, for instance, we just got another season of Animaniacs.
Oh, right. That's right.
So we need a Christmas song. So write it. Boom. That's it. Just write it. No questions asked. So Randy's came up with that.
Yeah, he said, we need a funny Christmas carol.
Yeah.
So, write it. And I thought, what? I said, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I got an idea. You cast a check. You write the songs. Yeah.
Yeah, so there I'm sitting on the Warner Brothers lot. I'm busting my brain trying to figure out what would make a funny Christmas carol.
Right.
So finally, in desperation, I thought, well, why don't we try this?
Okay.
We'll open up with a panning shot across the Warner Brothers lot, which is in Burbank, California, and it's completely covered in snow.
Which is great. So right away, we're lying to the children.
Exactly, because there's no snow in Burbank. But we land on the water tower. For those of you who know Animaniacs, our little characters live inside the water tower. And as we pan up, we see it's all decorated out with Christmas, ornaments and tinsel, and it's got big, neon arrows saying "Drop presents here."
Free reindeer food. Sorry, it's Southern California. Gluten-free, free reindeer food.
Exactly. That's California. And at the very top is a little Christmas tree, all askew, which was obviously decorated by little kids. So then we cross-dissolve inside the water tower, and we see Yakko and Dot. They're hanging up all the Christmas decorations, but little Wacko, is the younger one, he's sitting at the table, and he's writing something.
Hey, what are you doing, little bro?
He says, I'm writing a letter to Santa Claus to tell him what I want for Christmas.
Ooh, good idea.
And we do an over-the-shoulder shot, and we see he's asking for an aircraft carrier,
Nice.
a space shuttle,
Oh, boy.
a PlayStation, all that. But where it says, Dear Santa, it's spelled S-A-N-T-L-A, like Santa.
Hey, that's not how you spell Santa.
He goes, it isn't?
No.
He says, well then, how do you spell his name?
Well,
And-
we'll find out as soon as you start playing the song.
Exactly, and so, in fact, I'll even use this stool here.
All right,
So we hear, Yakko pulls out a big butcher block full of paper, and he begins to write on it and sing. We hear,
To spell Santa's name is easy to do. You write S-A-N-T and another A too. But Noel, Santa's name has no L, and he won't bring you gifts if you don't learn to spell.
and now we see Wacko and Dot dressed in Austrian lederhosen, and they're running up a mountain with a bucket in their hand.
Jack and Jill ran up the hill to fetch water from the well. But when neither one could find it, Jill started to yell.
Dot goes, Noel, Noel, I can't believe there's no well. We walked all the way here, and I'm mad, can't you tell? And now we cut to the Pequod on the high seas.
Captain Ahab took his crew, his harpoon, and set sail. And he called out to ships, have you seen the white whale? No whale, no whale, no, we ain't seen no whale.
We saw a couple of dolphins and a big yellow tail.
We now see Yakko, Wacko, and Dot holding hands around a giant Christmas tree a la Charles Dickens. If you've listened to this tune,
Then you probably can tell that you've heard it before. It's a song you know well. Noel, Noel, it's a song you know well. And we ruined it completely, so we all say, oh well, oh well, oh well. Yes, we just
ruined Noel.
well. Merry Christmas, and next year we'll try Jingle Bell.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There we have it.
Let me ask you this. How many of you out there, I'd just love to check this out. How many of you out there, to the extent that you needed to learn our United States and capitals, how many of you listened to Randy's song to learn the United States? Yeah. Okay, how about this? See, they've forgiven us about that whole colonies revolutionary, I think.
Yes.
We're right here, like, open, so. No, it is an absolute pleasure. By the way, a little bit further on in our show, we're obviously, maybe I'm too close to the monitor. We'll do a Q&A. We have, I think, microphones here where you can queue up. So to the extent that any of you would like to ask questions, we can do that too. In the meantime, what do you want to do next?
Well, I mean, why don't we ask you, could we have another song in store?
Yeah, you know what?
Do we have any questions
You guys
about
have any questions
animation
about
culture, anything in
Animaniacs?
the animation world from anybody of what we do?
Go ahead, let's do that. Why don't we do the questions now? Oh, thank you. We have one taker. Hi, what is your name?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
There
I
we
can
go.
hear.
Okay. Yeah, my name is James, and
Hi, James.
I was just wondering, what was your reaction when you learnt that Animaniacs was coming back and you were getting a lot of the old crew together?
Oh my God, well, I thought I could make my car payment, finally. Now, look, anytime you get one crack at something like Animaniacs, and it turns out to be fairly iconic and brings all you lovely folks out here, that's a big deal. To get another crack at it, because the king of Hollywood says so, you know, it's pretty neat when Mr. Spielberg says, I think I want to do this again. And if Steven says it, it's going to get done.
And he insisted on using the same cast, too.
Yeah, it was Mr. Spielberg's call. He made it very clear that it was going to be Tressa McNeil as Dot, Jess Harnell as Wakko, and yours truly as Yakko, and Pinky, and our friend Maurice LaMarche as the brain. So when you have that kind of juice behind you saying, we're not going to have Liam Neeson as the brain and Russell Brand as Pinky, especially now.
As much as they wanted it, they lobbied for those parts.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it was amazing, absolutely wonderful. And the best part was that it did really well.
And do you know Rob got nominated for an Emmy again at the reboot? How about that?
Which was won by Jack Black.
Oh, Jack Black.
But that's okay, he deserves it. But thank you,
For
James,
Kung Fu
I appreciate
Panda.
your question. We've got one over here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the spotlight.
Yes.
Hello, Nick.
You're in the spotlight.
Hiya, my name's Rhiannon, and I just wanted to ask for both of you, do you have a favorite song for Randy lyrically and for Rob vocally that you have?
Well, you know, I've been asked that before. It's like, the question was, do you have a favorite song that you've written? It's like asking, who's your favorite child? Which of your children is your most favorite? But the one I've had more than that is to say, which is the hardest song you've ever written? And that's always the song I'm writing right now. I'm writing for a movie now called Salt and Blanco, and it's the song I'm working on. But once you get done with it, then it moves on. But Rob, do you have a favorite?
Well, Randy wrote a song in which he enumerates most of the countries of the world. Have you seen that one?
Maybe Rob will do that for you
Yeah,
before we go.
maybe later
And he
I'll
does
do
that big time during the show tomorrow at the Greenwich Theater, which is a 2-hour show full of all these songs and animation voices. He actually does that song live to picture.
Yeah, we do it right to picture where, you know, so if you miss, then it keeps going on and I look like a
without a
complete
net.
idiot.
Yeah.
Which is not dissimilar to how I behave. Do you have a favorite song that Randy
Yeah,
wrote?
that's actually the question.
My personal favorite is the state song that Wakko sings.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Randy was a staff writer, and what that means is that when the producer says, we need a song for the next episode, and write it, or we heard what you wrote, we like it, but not exactly what we want, so we got to ship this cartoon in 10 days, better write another one, bam. So you can't wait for the muse to hit you. That's what makes this guy so fabulous.
Again, my agent.
Does that. Thank you very much.
And tomorrow, if you come see the show, you're going to hear some songs
That didn't make it.
that didn't make it,
Yeah.
which I think you'll
And
like.
they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
When you get a chance to tour the whole of the UK. Will you bring the whole gang?
Oh boy, I would love to. We were here at MCM Comic Con, was it last?
So repeat the question, so everybody.
Oh, repeat the question, please. It was,
No, did you?
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The question was, if we come back to do Animaniacs in concert, will we bring the whole cast? Is that what you said? Yes. That would be great. And the only reason they're not here now is because they've got other stuff going on.
Yeah, usually Maurice LaMarche does
Yeah.
the Brain. He's in
Randy
all the
wrote a
shows.
piece for Pinky and the Brain
Yeah,
for
wrote
the
a
live
song for him
show.
called "Take Over the World," which
Yep.
he performs as the Brain.
It's just a blast. So we will keep trying because we love it. It's hard to get them out of the water tower, you know. They get up there, they have a couple of pops.
If the audiences want it, they sell it out. They'll do it.
That's right. And you know what? If we do really well at the Greenwich Theater, they probably come back.
Yeah, if we do well at the Greenwich, they'll bring us back.
Yeah. So thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, sir. Oh, it's Beetlejuice.
It's Beetlejuice.
What's up, man?
Hello. I've got a question for Randy. When you write your songs, how long would they regularly take to make? And for Rob, how many takes would a song take for you?
That's interesting. That's a really pretty cool question. It depends. I will, sometimes you bleed over them. Sometimes it takes me a couple days, sometimes a week. I even have one I'll play for you tomorrow that came to me on the freeway. I pulled over into the shoulder of the road, and it just this is so rare. It just came out in one big piece. We had that big, massive earthquake back when we were doing Animaniacs. We had a big earthquake in Los Angeles. And my little boy said, "Hey, why don't you write a song about an earthquake?" I'm thinking, God, people died and destruction. And then the idea came to me. I pulled over the freeway, wrote it like in a couple of minutes. It just flowed out of me. That never happened. And it won an Emmy, too. So it varies. But I will say when they did Yakko's World, which is a very complicated song with all the countries, Rusty Mills, who directed it, he told me Rob did it in one take. But we'll see tomorrow if Rob can do it in one take.
Yeah, it's all BS. I don't do anything in one take. No, well, your question, it varies. Remember, when Randy would write a song, we would get the music and like a piano track and a demo of the song on a cassette, CASSETTE.
That's right.
Google it. We've been doing this a while. We were actually the entertainment at the Last Supper, so we've been around.
Who are you?
Jesus, what a party. Okay, so, so we have the music and we get to rehearse them. What is really wonderful, and which doesn't happen as much anymore, is with a show like Animaniacs, when you have Steven Spielberg, who insists on a 35-piece orchestra for
we had a
every
full
half
orchestra.
hour. Yeah, it's like the way Looney Tunes was done, with great music, full
Speaking
band.
of which, Carl Stallings' piano
Yeah.
is in the soundstage, and so that we recorded it with Carl Stallings, who wrote all the.
That's what's cool, is seeing all these world-class players record. It's a great big universe, and they're having.
We do a big thing on this during the
Yeah.
show about how these people, they can read notes faster than you can read words, but how all that happens, the process of how it all comes together. When the orchestra comes in, they run the cartoon now, and the orchestra's playing live to it. It's pretty amazing, piece of production.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your question. Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to know, what your favorite voice was today.
The next one, because it means I'm working. Well, it's, as I said earlier, what is your name, sweetie?
My name's Elia.
Annie, I love your musical.
Yes, and I see you brought your big brother with you. You're welcome. Yes. Ania, I have enjoyed an embarrassment of riches up to this very point. The best part of my job, well, it was a remarkable opportunity to do great work. But now the best part of our jobs is this, getting a chance to meet folks like you who weren't even thought of when that show was made, and now you like it. That makes us so happy, because it means we got it right. And you are a perfect example of that. I got to be two hero turtles, which is a pretty big deal. Then I got 2 shots at this, and then I got to be Carl Weezer, and I got to be The Mask, and I got to be Arthur on the Tick, and all this crazy stuff. However, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Yakko, because I get to sing. I was a singer before anything else, and I love to sing. But when you can sing original music written by one of your very best friends, and it turns out to appeal to this broad audience. That's pretty special. So I would probably have to say Yakko.
And if I can add to this a little bit, you know, Rob and Tress and Jess and Maurice and Billy West, they all get out in front on the cons. The audience sees them. People like me who are composers or we're writers, or you know, people who are animators or directors, we're in a studio, in an office working, doing what we do, but we never get to see the reaction of the audience to what we do. So this is a real treat for me to be able to actually see the audience, and when we do the show, hear their reactions to the stuff we do. So thank you, that's a real gift.
Yeah, and so, like I said, after when we're done, you guys can come right down to our tables and tell Randy how grateful you are that we're still alive.
Great, yeah.
It's pretty cool. When the original Turtles all get together, you can see people going, holy shit, these guys are still alive.
I know, they're still here, my goodness.
Turtles live a long time. Thank you, Ania. That's very pleasant to meet you. And thank you, big brother.
I think they're going to go, yes, and we'll see, we'll hope to see you at the Greenwich Theater tomorrow night.
Hi. Oh, look.
Hello.
Can you can do it, Hazel?
Oh, what a sweetie.
Thank you. She's so,
you can ask.
you're so sweet, honey.
I know, you should be on television.
She's a little bit nervous. She
That's
wanted
all right.
to ask if you could sing the Countries of the World song.
You know what? If you give us about another, well, we'll see if
You know what? We're going to do the countries of the world for you. As soon
Yes.
as we're done with the Q&A,
What?
and Rob's going to do it live for you. How's that? Okay?
We'll do it.
And then when you come tomorrow to the show, he's going to do it with the actual cartoon play.
with a big cartoon and
And an
cool.
orchestra.
Thank you, sweetie. You did a great job.
Yes.
Excellent job. Hi.
Hi, Robbie.
Hi, sweetie. Nice to
Hey.
see you.
I feel like I can't. You know me.
Yes, I
from
do.
Social media. Yeah. So Randy.
We were in rehab together, right?
So
The third time. Okay.
So Randy, hi, I'm Ella,
Hi,
also
Ella.
known as Violet Crystal on Instagram. Robbie and I have interacted
Ah, well, nice
right.
to meet you.
millions of times. I gotta know, right, Yakko's World. I saw in an interview actually, Robbie, that you said that you did it in one take.
I did.
Yeah, I gotta know, because I'm a singer myself, like, what did you do? Like, what, did you control the breath, like, diction? How?
Well,
I just-
again-
Must be how well written the song was. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
my guess. Right?
Well, as I mentioned, rehab, I was taking, never mind. No, none of that happened. That is all nonsense. Okay, just kidding with my friend Violet. Yeah, okay. How did I do it? Well, firstly, I had the music for probably a week. I read music. I went through it, and what was really astonishing was going through it and rehearsing it, and I would just, because this is, Randy and I had not met at that,
Yeah, that was the first song. I was writing on a show called Batman.
yeah,
I
Batman.
heard.
Oh, you like Batman? Yeah. So, and then the Spielberg people were finishing Tiny Toons and moving on to this new show called Animaniacs. I said, well, I should write for that show.
Yeah.
They go, no, Batman is dark and this is a comedy. I thought, well, comedy is me, you know. So I wrote that song with all the countries of the world. And so I hadn't even met Rob yet when he did that song. And they sent me a cassette of him doing it. I called Rusty. I said, Rusty, who is this guy? He's like really good. And that's when he told me, Randy, he did it in one take. And then I began writing all the songs for Rob until Tom told me, no, you got to write a song for Dot, you got to write something for Yakko.
Well,
But, yeah.
and as I said earlier, I'm good at my job. I ought to be. I've been doing it for a long time. But honestly, if that song, the first song Randy wrote for Animaniacs was Yakko's World. So the bar from the beginning was pretty high. Now, doing it in one take isn't quite, it's a kind of a parlor trick. If you have time to rehearse, and the song, it really is written beautifully. If you know the cartoon, Randy rhymes the countries, and then he goes kind of in North and South America, and then goes over to kind of Europe-ish, and then he goes to Asia,
Asia,
right,
Africa.
and then Southeast Asia, and we end up...
Because I knew it'd be animated and I didn't want him jumping all over
yeah,
the place.
and then we go to Africa. So it is in 4 complete separate chunks. And of course, I had the music in front of me, but when you're able...
But today he's going to do it without anything in front
That's
of him.
right. However, when you're lucky enough to do this for a living and you get something like that, all it does is light you up. You're going, oh my God, I'm the first person to get to sing this. I'm going to kill it. And I did. But the song is the champion. Because with that particular little 2.5-minute cartoon, it's a seminal piece of American animated art. You don't have to know the language. You don't have to know the show. You don't have to know what the hell's going on in a cartoon. You just understand that every time Yakko touches a country, it lights up and it rhymes. It's a remarkable piece.
Well,
so,
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And by the way, as an extra special treat, which Rob will say during the show tomorrow, is that the new countries have come up since we wrote that, and so we have a new verse with all the new countries.
Since we wrote that, no, you wrote that.
So you'll actually be able to, if you come to the show tomorrow, you'll hear the new added verse.
So he wrote
with all the new countries and nations.
There are new countries that came up, and tomorrow you can hear us doing the new countries. The same thing. Yeah. Thank you, sweetie. Nice to see you. Hi, who's over there?
Hello.
Hi, buddy.
My name's Lucas Gardner, sorry.
Hi, nice to meet you.
It's a bit of a weird question.
Oh, no. You're talking to people who talk like animals for a living.
That's right. We're weird.
Weird question. Go ahead.
Did you ever hear of the Yakko balloon incident in 1993?
The Yakko balloon incident?
Oh, excuse me. This was on the water tower.
Yes.
Was it Yakko or Wacko?
Oh, yeah.
No, that was Yakko.
Oh, you're talking.
That's quite a story.
Yeah, so
Yeah, if
apparently...
you're going to talk about weird stuff, get it right. It was me sitting on the water tower.
So apparently in 1993, before Animaniacs premiered,
Yes.
they put a Yakko like balloon on top of the water tower.
That's right, and you can even see it online.
Actually,
Yeah.
why don't you tell them what happened?
Okay,
there?
so what happened? What this young gentleman?
This is
referring
actually, by the way, this is a true story that.
Yeah, it is true.
Yeah.
There was a period of time before the show premiered in September of 1993 in which somebody in marketing at Warner Brothers said, hey, Yakko and Dot live in the water tower. Why don't we put a giant inflatable Yakko on the water tower? And when you drive by Warner Brothers, you can't miss the water
It'd be
tower.
like a Macy's Day
A big
size
giant
balloon. Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day parade balloon. But they didn't tell the president of the studio.
The CEO of the studio is Bob Daly.
Yeah, the guy who makes Batman, and Harry Potter and all that stuff. They didn't say, oh, by the way, we're going to put this balloon up. So the truth is, he had gone out to lunch and he came back and he's surveying his domain and he looks at the water. He says, what the hell is Mickey Mouse doing on my water tower?
And Yakko was gone that day,
Yeah.
and we have never seen him since.
That's
I
right.
wonder where that balloon is.
I don't know, but it was just,
Yeah.
But to the untrained eye of a studio chief who's maybe had a couple of pops at lunch, looked like Mickey Mouse. And of course, the the Disney Animation Studios is a stone's throw.
It's just right down the street.
Yeah. So he's like, Mickey Mouse, what? So you can Google it, Yakko.
You can actually see it. Yeah.
Water tower balloon, and you'll see it.
Yeah, I think he ended up calling them up, going like, "What kind of sick joke is this? You put a Mickey Mouse on my water tower."
But yeah, I think
I
there
would
was
not have wanted
definitely-
to be on the other end of that phone
there was
call.
definitely an important phone call.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. I
Yeah,
appreciate
great.
it.
That's cool that you brought that back up.
Thank you. Hi.
What's the favorite piece of the show that got cut that we never saw?
Oh gosh, the favorite piece of the show that got cut?
Oh, well, tomorrow you come, we'll show you. We'll play it for you.
This is called
More than
Gentle
one.
Persuasion.
That's right. Well, we don't have time to do it anyway.
Yeah, we don't. There were.
We're down to our last 10 minutes. So
Oh, yeah,
we'll just-
okay.
But we have time to do it. But tomorrow we will show you and perform
Yeah,
for you
because
the
there
things
were-
that didn't make it or got cut. I'm sorry.
Right. Randy did a number of songs that for various reasons were not allowed, or it's simply, do something different. I got to go. And then you hear what Randy wrote, and you think, oh my God.
And I'm betting you're going to like it better than what we
Than
did, so
the
we'll
one.
see.
But as far, we did have things that would be cut by the censors or whatever you want to call them, standards and practices.
Yeah.
However, there's one great joke that got through that Tress McNeil, who's Dot, and I never thought would get through, which is fingerprints. Yes, where I say, no, fingerprints, fingerprints. And she looks at Prince, who's in her arms, and she says, I don't think so, and throws him out the window.
Yeah, and I
So,
can't believe they let that one go.
That was pretty cool. But every now and then, we got through quite pretty cool stuff. Thank you. Yes, who have we got over here?
Hello.
Hi.
So, my name is Hella, and I've never seen Animaniacs, but I've heard of them. What inspired you to make the characters?
I'm sorry, what's your question?
What is what?
What inspired you to make the characters?
Okay, this is really a good point to bring up. You don't need to know Animaniacs, and you don't even need to be a kid to enjoy the show. Most of our audiences are really adults. We did this show with the Colorado Symphony, and there were people who showed up because it was part of their season that thought they were going to be listening to Mahler. And there was this woman in a gold lame gown, and I remember we're doing these songs, and I thought, oh no.
Here we go.
We saw her afterwards, she goes, this was the most entertaining show I've heard. So you don't worry that you don't know Animaniacs. And the characters are like anything, they evolve. They came from Tom Ruegger, they came from Steven Spielberg. Did you ever watch the early versions of The Simpsons? That's very famous. In fact, Nancy Cartwright, who is Bart Simpson, is in Animaniacs. In fact, we just did a concert like a month ago, and Nancy was in the concert with us.
She played Mindy.
She plays Mindy. But the point being, The Simpsons, when you first see the first episodes, is not what it became. It grew into. Same thing with Animaniacs. You begin to figure out who the characters are, and it evolves. And that's, I think, in large part to the actors who are playing what they bring, certainly the writers and the producers, and I think Mr. Spielberg himself, because he had a real vision of what it was supposed to be. And that's how a show gets made.
Well, and interestingly, Mr. Spielberg from the beginning said, look, we're not making a kid's show. We're making a show for kids of all ages. And a la Rocky and Bullwinkle, Looney Tunes, Simpsons, Flintstones. And that is, he's correct, because he said, you know, the kids will get a kick out of it when we drop an anvil on Barney.
Yeah.
And the adults will get a kick out of fingerprints. And now, 25 years later, we have people who've learned the jokes and go, oh my goodness, and that was on purpose. It was written on 2 different levels on purpose.
And there's more you will hear tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We have time for just another 1 or 2 questions. And then, how many, would you like to hear Rob perform Yakko's World with all the countries of the world? All right. Yeah, 1 or 2 more. Because we're down to
okay, yes.
Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, sorry, I'm a little nervous. Hi there, Rob. My name is Ted Bennett.
Hi, Ted.
And I just want to say I have been a huge fan for as long as I can.
Well, I must say you look fairly normal sized, but that's very
okay,
kind.
No, I'll take that. Right, anyway, it's not so much as the sort of questions like you've been getting from the other 3, 4,
the other
6
aisle.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I suppose this one would be a way of testing your memory of your time on the show.
No pressure. Go ahead.
Especially involving one character, which I'm sure not a lot of people have come to mind, but Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that's him. And so it's something that me and my sister, despite our differences, we've actually bonded over that one moment.
Oh dear, what would that be?
Well, here it comes. Hey, do you want to hear a joke?
A joke? Yeah, go ahead. What is a joke?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Max.
Max who?
Max wants to come in here and go crazy.
Oh, that's excellent. You know what? You are loony. I don't like you crazy wanna kids, Ted. So you are going to go back into the water tower, only bring your own booze. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Great job.
Well, it's funny if you know Max.
Yes, excellent. That's right.
If you want Pinky, ask Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Ask Rob, Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
Yeah. You go ahead. Ask me, Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering? Go ahead.
Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Brian, but if Jack's black and Betty's white, is Marvin gay?
There you go.
Nerf.
He makes those up. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more
I think we have time
question.
for one more, and then we can do the song.
Hi.
Hi, Hi, my name's Eloise.
Eloise.
Randy, I had a question for you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Your music and your writing is so clever and playful. Is there a piece of music or a song where you think, gosh, I wish I'd written that?
Well, Eloise, that's a really interesting question. How many of you know Tom Lehrer? You ever heard of Tom Lehrer? As a kid, he wrote some brilliant stuff. And I saw, to preface this, we're at the studio, we get fan mail a lot of times, and one of the fans sent in and says, oh, I love all these songs. Why don't you do a song with all the with all the elements of the periodic table? And I thought, they sent that to me, and I said, because Tom Lehrer already did that, and he did it perfectly, and I can't improve on it. Well, later on, I saw an interview with Tom Lehrer, and they said, you did those list songs. Why didn't you ever do one with all the countries of the world? And he said, I tried and I just couldn't figure out how to do it. So I was like, oh, okay, he did the periodic table. But that's certainly when I would have loved to have done. But
Thank you so much.
You bet.
You,
All right,
Eloise.
and so along those lines now, we're going to do Yakko's World. But for those of you who are interested in coming to see the show, and I promise you're going to have a great time. It's really a fabulous show. Come by, we can't do it here because they have to have another show come in. Just come by our tables.
Right, we're in the
Our
autograph
Paulsen
area.
and Randy Rogel,
We're right
where the
next to
celebrity
each
signing
other.
is, and Aubrey and Sean will have a QR code that you can do, and it takes you right to getting a ticket. And there are some tickets left. And it's also, it's just the GreenwichTheater.org. You can look that up and get a ticket. So we hope we'll see you all there. And now,
ladies and gentlemen, this song is entitled Yakko's World. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, and Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guyana, Barbados, and Guam.
a little faster.
Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman. Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Portugal, France and Denmark and Spain. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana.
Go faster.
Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Niger, Nigeria, Chad, Liberia, Egypt, Benin, Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea, Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Mayo, and Cayman, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Pennsylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Paulsen, one take.
Thank you.
We will see you at the Greenwich Theater tomorrow for Animaniacs in concert, where you'll hear the extra verse.
Yes.
And come by our table. We would like to meet all of you.
Thank you, folks. Really a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you, Reed Pop, Danny, for having us here. But you know what, folks? We are really here for you. And you come on over to the table. You ain't got to buy a thing. If you want to say hi, just come on and do it.
We love meeting you.
We hope to see you at the Greenwich Theater tomorrow night. And good night, everybody.
Did you have a good time? All right.
MC, make some noise for Rob Paulsen and Randy Rogel!